well saves the world. Take 100. So, yeah. I'm driving. Here we go again. I'm driving. And just turn down that feedback in the background. I hope that's clearer. Going to my brother's house, or should I say leaving my brother's house and driving home. It's the hood, you know what I'm saying? You gotta drive through the hood to get to the burbs, you know, it's that kind of situation. But so driving home from Rockaway, you know, like Beach 50 something, I don't know what used to be Edgemere or whatever. They got some new developments in there, and you know, people, you know, like cobblestone streets and $1 million homes in Rockaway. Go figure, right? So, you know, it's like a gated community, but it's not really gated, but it's kind of gated. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what Rockaway looks like right now. You could drive through like the hoodie hood and end up in the burby burbs, and it's like a beachfront property, and it's still got that New York vibe, and you can look out the window and you see Brooklyn is right down the block. It's kind of crazy. It's dope. The setup is lit. So driving home, it's nighttime, you know, by the L, the train, you know, and you know, I see this guy, dark skinned, cool looking kid, or whatever the case, had to be about 25, 26, maybe 22, 24, I don't know, mid to low 20s, right? I'm sorry about the vibration in the background, that's just what it sounds like. So see this guy walking, dark skinned dude, like really Wesley Snipes, dark skinned. And I notice, you know, people's dreads, you know, his whole look, style, whatever the case. I'm like, wow, it's good to drive back and just, you know, see where you came from, see what it's all about. You know, then I get to thinking, I'm looking at him, and I looked a little bit closer, and you know, I noticed that, you know, he had on you know, all black, but everything was very distinctive, you know, red trimming. This is a weird conversation to me because, you know, to this day, I don't have an understanding on how, and I would love for somebody to explain it to me, how the Bloods infiltrated New York. Like, you know, growing up in Queens, you know, seeing what I've seen in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, 2000, I didn't think that New York was built that way, that, you know, the Bloods would be here. And, you know, but it is what it is. They here, they're doing their thing, you know. But what was interesting about this guy that I saw while I was driving was that, I don't know, he looked a little clean, like he just came from work. You know, he had on red. It wasn't Target red. It was like distinctive red, like neon red. It was very clear, right? It wasn't like burgundy. It was like red at night, like white trimming on it, you know what I'm saying? Like a sports with the red, pure blood red sneakers, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, again, started thinking about that. And so I could be totally wrong, but I could be totally right. I don't know, or maybe somebody can identify with this. So I just want to acknowledge the fact that, you know, even with messages like this that I send out, you know, I don't know who's hearing the message, but I know in my heart that somebody is receiving what I'm saying, right? So, dark-skinned dude, all black clothes, red jacket, red sneakers, walking under the L, Rockaway, 11 o'clock at night, Beach 50, something like that, right? Train overhead, you know what I'm saying, like condos now built up, everything, whatever, but it's still Rockaway. Like Rockaway, I I grew up in South Jamaica, but I worked in Rockaway. So, like, I used to have girlfriends out here or peoples that I used to hang with or whatever, parties that I used to go to, just affiliation with Rockaway. And, you know, I was even, you know, in a relationship with somebody else from Rockaway, you know, a long term. So I know Rockaway, right? And it's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. And I'm sure that even though gentrification is happening, that it didn't lose its edge completely. So I'm looking at this kid, looking at how clean he is, but I'm also looking at the distinctive message that he's sending, you know, for whomever is going to receive it. It could be something that saves his life. You just never know. He's wearing this red, and I just realized that, you know, so I'm in a certain place in my life to whereas I can walk down the street and not worry, right? I can literally just, you know. And a lot of people my age, I mean, that's the natural progression. You strive to do better. So I'm in a blessed position, and you know, so certain things that I don't worry about, like colors. So it occurred to me that this kid was walking down the street with this, you know, noticeable peacocking, you know, red. And it very well might be that he's wearing the uniform of a blood, but he might not be a blood, you know. He might just be surviving, and maybe if somebody noticed him in the red that he's walking around in, you know, they'll you know, they might qualify him, or they might just let him go, you know. He got home safe that night. It's interesting. That's, you know, I don't know if I have anything profound to say outside of that, but it is interesting to me, because that puts a flashlight on, you know, certain ideas, like, you know, what people have to do to stay safe, what roles one might assume to preserve, you know, whatever life force, whatever journey, whatever mission, whatever legacy that he's trekking on his life's voyage. It's interesting. Like, you know, you got a car with airbags, he's got a jacket that's red, and it's all based around survival or being noticed. Same thing applies to the car. You know, candy apple red, really? Like, get noticed much? Like, anyway. So, you know, I guess what I'm getting from this perception is that, you know, survival. So, you know, what do you do to survive? What are the things, the nuances that you know, do to, what's your essentials? I'm curious, like, what are your essentials in your day-to-day that you must have in your possession or nearby or at all times, so that you have safe passage to get home or to your destination or what have you. You know, life is an interesting thing. Like, the things that we do out of habit, you know, muscle memory, reflexology, to get through the day. You know, maybe you leave your keys, you know, in the windowsill as opposed to the key hanger that's hanging on your wall. But that is your code. That is your investment to make sure that your structuring stays consistent. Maybe you don't register the key hanger, but somehow seeing your keys hanging from the windowsill and the lanyard, you know, you always see it from the corner of your eye. It makes me think about the song "Life is What You Make It," right? So that's reality to me. Life is what you make it. And just like a fingerprint, there is no identical anything. And what may work for me may not work for you, vice versa. One of my objectives in doing these podcasts is to understand, but also present a dialogue that creates opportunity for building. You know, there's so much energy that we put into like negative energy, right? So, you can actually burn calories just by investing in a negative idea. Like maybe you'll drive around the block an extra, 5 minutes to make sure that this person sees your car because they hurt you. And so now you're spending this energy investing, burning gas to make sure that they always know that you're okay. Versus just letting it go and not caring and going about your business. I am not trying to be deep. This is not about deep. This is about seeing what's right in front of me. And I'm just at that place in my life where, common sense, it's free. And so is putting out an idea like this on, let's say, for instance, YouTube, or SoundCloud, or as a record, or whatever. People consume things with our little devices, our headphones, our, phones, or, whatever. Information is everywhere. I feel fortunate to be able to, project something louder than the scope of what I can visually see, and potentially share an idea with somebody and we agree. And it's like I'm vocally giving you the nod to be like, look, bro, it's easy, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a dope spot to be in. And I encourage people to don't ever look at anything on face value, like my man with the red jacket. I could be defensive. Oh man, this guy's a blood. Or I could just say, look, man, that guy just wants to get home. Like, he's in his last year and he's about to become a dentist, But because of his circumstances, he has to put on a uniform for survival. And a lot of us are wearing uniforms. We are social chameleons. We put on our red jacket. We get in our fancy car. We might even put in some gold teeth, or we might put on an accent because we're in a certain area where we live or where we work, or we might wear a certain style of clothing. It's amazing what we do to survive. But what I'd like to submit as an idea, with your permission, of course, is that yes, survival is necessary, but while you're surviving, I've learned, and this is from my own experience, that if you take the time to appreciate the journey in your survival, there's going to be a lot of hot pockets, if you will, inside of the journey that, no, it's not it's not utopia, it's not the end game, but it's opportunity to learn, to feel, to grow, to excel. And yes, don't take your eye off the target, but you have to live while you have the opportunity, because life is short, life is unforgiving, it's fickle, you know, and it's ironic. So, you know, a lot of people say, yeah, I'm living today like it's my last day, and they don't really understand, like, there's so much more to it than that, but it's no more than that. You know, like, take advantage of life, but stay focused. There's a life in front of you right now that you're overlooking that's potentially, you know, maybe one of the best things that you can do. And never settle for anything, but at the same time, don't take for granted something that could be the place where you pump your brakes and say, let me just grow on this idea and see where this goes. Is it off course? Maybe. Do I still have focus on the goal? Absolutely. Well, then why wouldn't I stop and have a cup of coffee here just to see what this place feels like and experience this particular reality? You could have a stronger calling in this particular place in spite of your ability to get to this goal. Does that make sense? So, you know, all of you guys walking around in your red jackets and your red sneakers, your uniforms, the positions that you're in to survive, just know that, you know, your labor isn't in vain. Everything happens for a reason, in its own time and at its own pace, and you know, I recognize your sacrifice, and I see you on your journey, and I salute you. You know, one day I'm gonna have a conversation with you guys about gangs, you know what I'm saying, and just giving my opinion. You do what you want to do. I like to express, so that's what I do on this particular platform. But the people that are adapting, hey man, good for you. Good for you. And survive. Make sure you survive. But don't just survive, win. You know, you're smart enough to evade the traps that want to consume you by putting on a chameleon's uniform. That is dope. I respect it. And, you know, do it until you get it. And then when you get it, help somebody else get it. Get it? Alright. I think that's all I got for this particular one. D Wells in the building. Dad Hats on YouTube. One love.